thank you again to have the opportunity to show you today process for process manufacturing. You can see, and I hope, and you can see my SAP running here, and what you can also see. And before I start to show you the process, I want to give you a short introduction in my let's call it guideline. I use the common function here. This is the cockpit function of SAP Business One. So you can see the main modules and the function I want to show you today. So before I start with the process, I give you a short introduction in my item structure. I've created an example, and before I start with the process, I want to explain only in a few minutes my example, and then I want to start to give you introduction. Start with the so-called opportunities. This is a small CRM functionality in SAP Business One. So here you can have your prospects, and you can manage your prospects. I will show you that, and based on that, I want to create then a quote. From the quote, we come to the sales order then, if the prospect is then confirming my quote, and we can change that into a customer. And based on the sales order, I will use the function, the so-called APS. It's Advanced Planning and Scheduling, to schedule and to plan and do some planning against my promised delivery date to get the real start date. And based on that, in parallel, I want to show you the MRP wizard, Material Resource Planning. And the MRP wizard is then consider the start date and suggests to purchase or to produce some other items. And then I want to show you the work order itself, the work order structure, an overview about your status of your work orders. I want to show you some quality control orders based on the work order. I want to show you there a typical in-process control or final inspection of your batches. And then we have the terminal function. This is a function people can do some receipts, some time receipts or some bookings based on a terminal. So this is typical to have it in production, and workers can start and finish operations, for example. And based on this receipts, we get then, of course, at the end and postings, the good receipt of your final product, and then we can go to Pick and Pack Manager. We have an SAP where you can pick based on sales orders some quantities. You get then a pick list. You can use and go through your warehouse to pick your items if you want, of course. And based on that, normally then you have the delivery, the shipping, and the invoice. This is more or less the guideline I want to show you today. So again, these are functions from the left side, from your main menu. The idea is that I don't have to click through my menu, so I can directly start it from my common functions. If I start with my item structure, you get an overview, and this is an overview, a list of all your items you have in your item master data. So I can do a little bit of a zoom on it. And what I did was upfront to create a standard product, finished product. I call it FP01. So, and if we filter to our product, I called it simply finished product. This is at the end maybe a bottle or something, 100 liter or what else. And behind the finished product, I have here my structure. Structure means you have here 3 bill of material positions, or three more positions. One of it is my mixed product, or the bulk, or my batch itself. So you see I need 5 kilograms to produce for finished product. And here, additional to it, we need later a box and a label to produce my finished product. And what you also can see here is one operation, one step. I called it pick and pack and labeling. So it's simply the labeling and the pick and pack with the bulk, with the batch plus box and label to get the finished product. You have also the opportunity to insert some planned times, some minutes or hours to get then the finished product. And you have also here R02 is a resource, so you have capacity planning based on that later if you want. And if you click this plus, you can also have some employees or additional parallel alternative resource to it. I also insert that to see this, what's possible. Behind my mixed product or the bulk, I can also here expand, and then I get my recipe. Here, the recipe, and I need then the bottle and mix and fill. And behind the recipe, I have my ingredients. So I have some simple ingredients, materials, maybe coming from a third-party product, maybe coming from a special third-party product. Maybe you have an interface, or you can manage it here inside. So depending what you want. If I start later to produce, I never see, of course, the recipe itself. It's simply here, we call it phantom item. So you get then this recipe eliminated, and you have the dispositioned ingredients then connected to your mixed product automatically. But you will see that later when I create my work order for it. So this is my structure, and based on that, I want to show you the process now. So I will close that. And let's say we have a new prospect. So I want shortly to show you here the opportunity, or here as a function. Again, it's a nice and small CRM functionality. So if I open my opportunity, you can directly add a new one if you want. You can search up some prospect or existing customer. You can decide if it is for sales or purchasing. Or if you click here, you have some functions. If you go, for example, to the last record, you get here some records. So here is a record from a customer. What you can do here is simply to manage your sales opportunities. So you have a new, if we click through the opportunities, for example, here, I have here not a customer, this is a prospect or a lead. And there is a sales opportunity. So you have here a potential amount. You can insert, of course, your sales employee or some additional information, some dates, some closing dates, or some other things. And you can also say, if you go here to the stages, I have one stage, one entry. This is then a step. Maybe I have again still already a quote. You can insert here a new entry, a new row. Can give them a date and can say, okay, I spoke with my prospect. Now I have a new stage. Okay, sorry, let's say 15th. Sorry for the term here. So, but I had a presentation, for example, and then based on this stage, you can have here some closing percentages. So you get then a potential amount. So this is what you can do. You can also say, okay, I want to link some documents here, or I want to link an activity. So you have a full activity functionality in SAP. So if you click here, you can create an internal, so it's a SAP special activity, and can assign it to other users, and you can so manage your meetings or calls or what else you have with a customer. Yeah, so really a nice and great function. You can use or not, depend what you want, of course. And so let's maybe say I want to add here a new opportunity. Okay, that's okay. You can search here some prospect, some customer. Let's say, okay, it's here a new lead or prospect. Insert some predicted closing dates. It's okay. We hope that we can close the deal until the end of March. Then you can insert some potential amount. It is okay. I wait maybe, let's estimate $20,000 or euros or what else, and then you can here have a stage. For example, okay, this is first contact. So the closing percentage is really not so high at the moment, and I add. So now you have the opportunity in the system. You can call it again, take it again. Of course, add some new stages, add some new functionalities, add some activities. You have then here the related documents, yeah, and so manage your opportunity. On the other side, of course, you will then at a stage create your sales quotation, of course. So and then link it to that. So let me go to the next step, the sales quotation. So we'll close that. Let me say, okay, we have a new sales quotation. Go to my sales quotation. So now you can see here the screen for the sales quotation, and again here some opportunities to search now to customers. So you can say, okay, it's something like starting with L, and you press a star and tap, and then the system will directly find the lead and insert. Or you can here jump into a searching list, search after some customer. So some opportunities to find your customer or leads. From my side now, let's say, okay, it's a new sales quotation for my lead. I have here the contact person. On the right side, you see the dates from today, some valid until April, in this case 1 month. And now you have here the opportunity to say, okay, let's insert my product. I want to create the sales quotation, and I will take, of course, my example. It's starting with F. So if you type F, the system will suggest you all your products, and I see, okay, it's FP01. Of course, you need some quantity. I have here 500 gallons, pieces, bottles, depending, of course, which unit you have in your master data, and maybe a price coming from a price list. In my case, maybe let's say we don't have a price from a price list, but you can of course insert a price. So it's in my case euro, of course, and maybe also dollar, and depends on the currency of your customer or lead or prospect. So this is all. You can of course also insert some additional text, some alternative positions, but I don't want to show that. I want to concentrate later on the main production process. So let's say we create the sales quotation by saying add, and the system will then save the quotation, and we can of course then send it out by mail, printing it. So I can again open the sales quotation. You can have here the option to mail it, but with an attachment, PDF attachment. Of course, you can simply print it. What I can do is to show you really the simple default document, but of course it's in this case a crystal report, so you can change it. So let's show. This is a simply document, but yeah, don't worry. It's of course not so nice in my system, but you can of course change it by it's a crystal, so you can make it more nice, of course. And yeah, you can send it out to your prospect, and of course, if it comes back and your prospect says, okay, that's fine, I will confirm. You need now an sales order. So 2 things to do, of course, to create now a sales order based on your quote. This is really simple here. You see here on the right side a copy to function. So you can say, okay, I want this copy to a sales order, and the system will then copy all information. You see a new window is appearing here, and you have now all your information from your quote in a sales order. And what you also can do is to create a new customer. 2 options. Of course, you can simply create a new master data, new customer, or what you also can do is you can jump into your prospect here. So with the arrow, I come in my business partner prospect, and then if you want, you can simply switch it. As you can see, this is gets now a new number, and this is now no more a lead. This is now a customer, and you see some new options because now it's really in customer. You get here the orders, the opportunities, and the account balance, and then of course you have to say update. So this is an option, or you can create a simply new master data for it. Okay, and now of course here we can say it's for C1000. Now the system asks to update the lines. We say yes, please update the lines, and now we have it here as a new customer. Okay, I didn't change the name, so this makes no sense. But of course you can change also the name in your master data. So this is one step, of course. So now we have really a customer, and additional to it, of course, we if we have a price list already for this customer, you get the price here automatically. In my case, there's no price in the price list, so I have to insert it. You can do this by doing calculation. This is possible, a pre-calculation. But in this case, we say it's a standard product. We don't need a calculation. We have the price, again, coming normally from a price list, or we type in the price. Maybe it's a special price. And then you can also have some special price for your customer. So let's say 20 euro. And also, of course, important is that you need a delivery date, because this delivery date is later. Our delivery date, we have to do the planning again. So we have later then, of course, linked to this sales order, a production order, and we have to be sure that we produce in the right time, that we produce to against this delivery date. So let's say this comes maybe from a lead time, a channel lead time automatically, or we discussed with our customer and said, okay, our delivery date we promised is maybe 20th of March. So you type in 20, tap, and then the system knows, okay, it's 20th of March, and ask again to insert this delivery date also in your line here. So let's say yes, and then you have it here. So for example, if you have more than one line, of course, you can have different delivery dates per each line, and of course plan your production order against each delivery date. So, but we say our standard product, 20th of March is our wished or promised delivery date at the moment. And what you have to do now is, of course, to say, okay, I want to add my sales order in the system by clicking add, and the system will save the sales order. And again, the same like we have in the sales quotation. Sorry, let's say this. The same, you can print it, send it by mail, yeah, whatever you want. I think this should be clear that you have the same options for a sales order like you have for a sales quotation. So, and also the next step, what you can do here is, because this is a product we want to produce order related. Our finished product is order related. So we say this 500 gallons or bottles or boxes we want directly produce, not going by MRP. We want to produce this 500 linked to the sales order. You can do this by simply clicking, make a right here in the right click, and you have here the opportunity to say, okay, or the option to say new work order for my finished product 01 for the line 1 for this 500 pieces, gallons, boxes. In my case, it's gallons. Say yes, I want to create the work order, and the system will automatically create in the background your work order, considering this delivery date. And you can see this by again making a right click. You see directly, okay, there is a new work order. It's linked to your sales order. The work order gets, of course, an internal ID, 41 for this line. You can jump to this work order directly if you want, and the system will filter, jump to the work order list and filter to your work order. So this is a work order for the finished product. What you can see, the system says, okay, I want to be finished on 16th of March. This is because I have some delivery time between this delivery date and the finishing date of my productions, because I have to ship maybe 2 or 3 days. 20th can be maybe a weekend, so I'm not sure. I think it's Monday. Yes, okay. And if you go 2 days back, you come to Friday. So this is why the system here say, okay, I have to finish here because of shipping to get here then the product to my customer. So the system also do a backward scheduling automatically. So this is simply backward scheduling against infinite capacity. So you can accept and say, okay, but we in our scenario now want to do a planning against finite capacity against this date. So for this, I go now the next step. Say sales order is okay. We have a work order for it. We have to produce. I will close that and come back later for shipping. I also want to close my sales quotation. So we come from quotation to sales order, and now I want to show you a function called APS. It's Advanced Planning and Scheduling. It's a planning function, a planning module. So if you open this function, or if your staff, your planner, open this, he gets, or the people get some planning scenarios. So I have several planning scenarios. I simply want to use one scenario. I called it finished product. This is a scenario which filters automatically on my sales order related work order. So that means if I double click here, I get all new work orders which are not planned at the moment. So normally you have active work order, you have work order which are planned, released, or new work order. In my scenario, I want to show you a scenario where you consider only work order which are not started, not active, and not planned so far. So you see also again your delivery dates coming from sales order here. And what you can do now is, because you see this is 3 times the same product here for maybe for different customer. What you can do is to say, okay, I want to schedule now against my promised delivery date here. And I want to try to start today or tomorrow, and then check if I can do that in this range. So what you can do is you have here some collective actions. You can say, please set to every work order. These are 3 different work order. Set a new start date, and let's say I want to start tomorrow, 15th of March. And then you can say, okay, please set the start date. The system will automatically set the start date. And also now what you can do is, and now please do some calculation in the dispatch, in a forward dispatching. So the system will now try to start today. If you have enough capacity, you can start today. If not, the system will suggest you the next free capacity you can start. The system will also do some material check. Will also check if you have all materials available for this date. And the system will also consider your sorting. So this sorting here you have is at the same time the priority. So if I now click to calculate, the system will first choose this one, then this one, and this one. And if you use or need the same capacity, of course, this one gets the highest priority. You can start here first. If you want to change the sorting and the priority, you can say, okay, I want to edit my sorting, and I know this is the important customer. I want to produce it first, and then you can drag and drop on the first page and say save. So now you can be sure that this work order gets the first free capacity, and then the next one. So if you now say, please dispatch forward, and say calculate, the system do an automatic forward calculation against capacity limit. So what we also directly see is, okay, we can start this work order tomorrow, and we are finished in 1 day. We don't have a problem. We also see my material in the I need is available at the 16th. So maybe I get here a problem. I cannot start. I have to maybe to check if I get some other material, or maybe I have to start at the 16th. You also see here the second one, we can start at the 17th because we have no capacity. I can in 2 seconds show you then a graphic to that. And we get some problem here with our delivery date, because with the forward scheduling, we are finished 21 of March. This is a problem for us, so we have to check what we can do. Maybe work 2 shifts or 3 shifts in this time, maybe to speak with our customer to change delivery date, and so on. So depending what we can do. And the same here. Here we can start the 21st of March. So we have also here a problem. If you want to see this in more details, we have here a function where we can see that in a graphical view. So the system will show you that in a graphical view. You can zoom it a little bit if you want, and you see on the left side all your work order. This is a view based on work order, and you can expand here and say, okay, if you see here your operations, and if you click and mark operation, you see also the need capacity. blue is the capacity you need, and here you can see the available capacity per day you have based on your master data, on your resource master data. You can also, if you want, can you also drag and drop. So you can, okay, I want to start this one here, drag and drop, but then you see, okay, this is not possible. I get here a problem with my capacity. You see here, I hope it's not too small. R02 is a resource. And you can also here have the option to get to the resource and also add here additional view where you can see on the left. You can see on the left side your resource groups. Maybe you work in groups. Maybe you have, what I have here is in parallel your employees. So you have not only the resource itself, you have also the employee, which works in parallel. So more detailed information in the graphic. Yeah, simply to plan start dates and plan your work orders. So this is, yeah, the main function. With the idea, of course, what you can also do is to remove as a undo, then we'll switch it with the idea at the end. When I go back, yeah, of course, to check what are the options. Maybe you can discuss with your customer and say, okay, this is fine. Can change delivery date. I spoke with my customer service, with the customer. We can deliver it here, and I'm fine. And also here we spoke with my customer. It's possible to switch. It's not a problem. And then you're okay. So this is maybe my scenario. And then you can say, okay, these three work orders are planned. I have some start dates and end dates. I can set them here to planned. Simply a flag, but a flag you can use for your workflow. Then, for example, you can say only the planned work order are displayed in my pull list, in my production. So it's really an important flag. So let's say it's planned, it's fine for today, and then we can close. So we have the start date, and of course at the same time or after your planning, you have to check, of course, the system will check the material, but now you have the next step is MRP. So if we go back, we have, of course, the planning. This is the planner who plans, but we have also MRP. This is purchase department mainly, or this is to produce now or to plan your batch, your bulk. So if you start MRP wizard, this is now a new wizard. You can also have here some different scenario. I want to keep it simple, so I have only one scenario. Of course, you can use several scenarios and have some special filters inside your scenario based on timeline, based on item groups, what else. But I have simply one scenario. You see the last calculation date. So I'm in the past. Of course, you can also here run your MRP wizard automatically in the night. So there's a service to do this automatically for you. In my case, I do this manually to have exact results. So I say calculate, and then comes an information that maybe some master data are not correct, but also here it's a test system. I will say it's okay for the moment, and then you can start calculation. And the system will now calculate your new planned work order. You will consider warehouse, consider existing purchase order, consider sales orders, and so on and so on. So you get at the end here an order recommendation. And if you click the order recommendation, and second window is opening. It's a window with 3 areas. So on top, I'll explain it a little bit. Make a little zoom to see it better. On top, I have a filter on all my products which have a negative balance calculated. Negative balance means I have to, in this case, it's a production item I have to produce, or if I have some purchase items, materials, of course, you also see the purchase items. But in my case, I'm fine with the warehouse for my purchase items. The system tells me, okay, please do something for the bulk. And what you have to do, you see here, this is based on my 3 work orders I have just planned. So I have planned to start, and because I said, okay, my mixed product is not an order-related product. I can use this mixed product for different final products. Therefore, I want to go by MRP and maybe summarize now quantities. Summarize based on lot size, for example, and now create an own, let's call it internal or warehouse-related production order for my mixed product. Of course, you can also set up the system to say, okay, I always want to produce my mixed product together with my finished product. This is also a scenario. This is completely order-related thinking. In my case, I said, okay, my mixed product is an internal warehouse item, not warehouse-oriented, and I want to summarize quantities, and I want to consider special lot sizes. I need 6,800 kilogram. I need it because I have here an existing warehouse stock, but I have here some outflows, and this is based on my planned work order for my finished product, and the date of requirement is the start date of my product. So based on the start date of my finished product, you see here the work order numbers I have scheduled for the customer, and the system tells me, say, okay, I need this tomorrow, I need this here and here. You can check this by doing, for example, right-click and jump into your production structure of this work order. So you see here, start date is here, and if you extend here, you can see, okay, I need the mixed product and a box and a label, but I'm fine with the warehouse and the box and a label, and I want to start the 15th of March tomorrow. This is my scheduled start date. And this is the reason why the system here said, okay, this is the date of requirement. Based on my lead time, when I say normally I need 2 days to produce the special lot size, the system makes here backward scheduling and say, okay, normally I'm too late. I have to plan, or I have to start today because I have really a lead time of 2 days. So the system also suggests here the date of order and the start date for my mixed product. You also see here the balance. This is warehouse stock minus my outflow based on the timeline. And what I can do now is, okay, I want to create a production order. You can here decide to produce. Optional, of course, it's also possible to purchase production items. If you say normally I do internal production, maybe you have some parts where you have to make a decision make or buy, and you can also simply create a normal purchase order. But we say we want to produce, and the system now switch here in the next screen. And what I mentioned is, this is for me from the type here, special type. It's make to stock oriented. Of course, everything goes to stock, but it's simply my process here. And what you also can activate is here an overview to say I want to check the next days or weeks here, and then the system gives you information. Okay, you need a special quantity here in this week, and next week you need an additional quantity, and you get here the complete total sum of it. Let's say this is fine, or you can say, okay, I want to produce it in this week. Then you switch and say this 6,800 I want to produce in this week, and then you can create a production demand upfront or directly create a work order. So in my case, based on time, I would say I create now a work order for my batch. Create the work order for it, and then the system will create in the background and production work order for your bulk, for your batch item. Opens the work order, you get now the work order with of course with the dates coming from MRP, with the work order positions. So because of a lot size of 5,000 kilo, the system creates 2 positions. This allows to give later 2 batch numbers for each position. Can be of course also a scenario on your side that you say I have to create batch numbers based on a special lot size. Therefore I have 2 positions, and now if I close, you see your balance is 0. You're fine. You have the bulk, the mixed production work order. If you go back here to the in and outflow, you also see here again now the balance. So on the right time you have your work order, the system. This is an MRP, and again also purchasing, of course, is possible here, but I have in my system enough warehouse on stock, so I don't have to purchase. You have here a filter possibility where you can, filter on special items, where you can check then, for example, simple material. So if you search after some special material and click the preview, you get then here some information for material 1, material 10, and you get also again, of course, your balance and your linked documents, purchase orders, sales orders, whatever you have here. Okay, so this is MLP in a quick overview. So now let's say go back. We come now from MLP to the main to the production itself. So we have here an overview where you can find your work order overview. If we open the list, we come into the work order list. This is again a structure view, because you have here the option to open your structure, and you see also directly here special icons. These three one are special sales order oriented work order with a customer, and this is my general warehouse work order with the dates again, of course, coming from APS and from MRP. So, and if you open, you have your bulk 2 positions with your product, and behind you have, coming from your recipe, you have your ingredients with the quantities, with the calculated quantity based on the quantity you want to produce. Yeah, with a kilogram, and you have also the step mixing and filling with the calculated duration and the time in minutes, can be also in hours or days, depending on your lead time. So what I want to do is, I want to produce now my batch here or my bulk. I want to show how you can do. I want to produce by doing, of course, at the end some backflashing and then time receipt, and I also want to show you the option that I want to do here some quality control, some checks. The system was creating automatically, linked to my operation, a quality control order. So maybe you know the name. It's a kind of in-process control. So it's linked to the operation. So the operation has an inspection plan, and based on this inspection plan, you get the quality control order with some tests. So again, the plus, you see, it's simply one test. So you can insert some measurements, you can insert some notes, some descriptions, and people can open it directly here from the list, or can open it separate. So if I make a double click here, I come into my quality control order. So if you start to produce, you can have the workflow that people in parallel in your quality control can do the quality control checks in parallel. Then if you want that something is stopped based on wrong results, you can also set up it, or you can have it totally in parallel. So you have here the information coming from an inspection plan, IPC01. You have here one sample to check, and if you go to the sample, you get here one or different measurements. So the sample is still open, it's not checked here, and if you go to the measurements, I have simply one measurement, you can insert some measurements or simply a value, or simply say okay. So depending what you have. So in my case, it's simply a quality and quantity check. Nothing in. You can insert a value, you can insert some valuation information, and can say okay, it's fine, and can update it. Then if you update your measurement, if people checked it, they will release your sample or not. Again, also if you insert some block reasons, bad quality, then of course the sample will lock your sample, and maybe then your production cannot have them go forward. So yeah, this is possible. And if you lock or not lock, let's say in my case we lock, okay. You get here, if you do a refresh, you get here the information directly in your work order structure. So we have bad quality, we have logged it, so we have to do something. We have to change. We have again to do some proofing or some checks. Can of course again go by double click here, or if you have of course a separate quality control department, I want to show you also this scenario that of course if you have no access to your work orders, we can close it, and you see here the next step, it's quality control order overview. So you see here all your quality control order, you can filter by type, you can search, and we see also here our in-process control, which is still open. So also from here we come into our quality control order and can go to the sample and can work on the sample. So depending, sorry, here's an arrow. This is our arrow. We have to choose it again. You see arrow. Go to the sample. Do again maybe a check, and say okay. Now it's maybe fine. Go to the measurements. Change it. It's now fine. Yeah, depending on your process, it's okay. I have set up it mainly manual. There are also some options to release such things automatically. Yeah, again, this is not customizing. It's set up. Now it's released. I have to do second release. So this is for I principle. If you want, someone have to insert a name or password. This is maybe the four I's principles in quality control. Update. Okay. So now it's okay. Now the system will automatically release, insert the people who did this with the date, and close it automatically. And you can say, okay, now it's fine. And if you do a reload, then you have the work order is disappeared. This is only the open one here. Or if we go back to our work orders here, this is now a work order list again. We make a short refresh. Someone takes a look on the work order, and we see, okay, quality control order was checked, it's fine, and we have here the information. We can go forward and do the next step. Yeah, this is quality control linked on mixing and filling. And now I want to do two steps. I want to do some reservations on my ingredients. So I can say, okay, to produce that, I have an allocation function or a reservation function, or simply a function to issue. Also here, depending if you want to work with some reservations or not. If you want to work with allocation, the system will do really a transfer from an allocation warehouse to a production warehouse, or simply reservation. Or we can simply say, okay, we now start to produce. We make here some time receipt directly, or we do the backflashing here. Yeah, also here depending on your process. What I want to do is to say, okay, I do some material issue, not linked on operation in my case. It's a manual doing, but you can also do this completely backflashing linked on an operation. Also here depends on what you want. If you say, I want to issue materials, the system will automatically suggest you your materials, suggest the requirement quantities coming from, of course, from the work order, and will show you for each material here the batch numbers with available quantities on warehouse. In this case, warehouse 01. You can now manually assign it, or you can let the system this. You can say, okay, please pre-assign the quantity based maybe on the number, based on some expiring date. Yeah, also here depends what you want. Pre-assign means the system will automatically pre-assign quantities. You see it here, and take here makes here an entry. You now here on the screen, you have 0 requirement, and now you can say, please issue the batches, and then the system will do this automatically. And again, this is something you can also do totally as a backflashing function in the background. This is also possible that no one has to choose. I wanted to show you this option. What happened is, if we go back and do a short refresh, we get here an information that here is the issue was done, and behind the issue we get exactly the batch numbers we issued, linked to the material. This is one thing. This was simply only the issue of material, and if you now start to produce, to mix and fill, you can also then do the receipt of your bulk, of your batch. So this is something I want to show you by using the terminal, so a terminal function. So therefore, let's say work order here. This is the next step here. So terminal means you see the screen in your production in the production. So people don't need any SAP license. They simply have an ID, personal ID. They see this terminal, they go. This can be a normal PC or a hard device, mobile device, what else. And then people say, okay, I have the idea, and they log in. And then people get the functions they can assign to the people. So every group or people can have different functions. In my case, I have some functions to start production. So if I do nothing, the system will jump out. In my case, I have, for example, the quick input. So this is something, if you say I have really a lot of operations, a lot of steps, I don't want to log in and log off. This makes no sense. I simply want to say I'm finished, I'm finished, I'm finished. You can scan a barcode or make a right click and say, okay, mixing and filling. This is my production order. You can type in if you want a duration, or simply here change the quantities the system was suggesting. Let's say, okay, 5,000. Then you can choose the next one and the next one. For example, this one. And at the end, you can say confirm partially, or confirm completion. And then the system will do the booking based on these operations. This is one way. As a quick input, you see here the personal ID of the people who do this. Or I will not do that. Or you can say, okay, I really want to log in and log off. So it means this is more the way to have really actual times at the end and actual production costs. So you can scan a barcode here, and the barcode itself, sorry to go one step back, the barcode is something you get then here from your work order. So I want to show you here the default paper or work order document we have, and again here it's a crystal report. You can edit it. So you can edit, of course. You have your product, you have your ingredients, your quantities, your warehouse, and you have here the barcode. So in my case, it's here the barcode. You can scan it. I don't have now a scanner, but I can type in the numbers here and start your operation. This is also option. So I go back to my terminal here, and again log in work order, and then scan the barcode, and then the system knows, okay, I'm now here in my mixed product. It's now the resource R01, it's mixing and filling, and now I log in. So login means now time is running. You see this again, and I jump again back to my work order list. You see this if you go back to your work order list and do a refresh. You see here that someone was starting the operation at this time. Someone is working on it. So you get completely overview here. You get the times, and of course, if someone finishes the operation, you can again go back to your terminal. Go back to your Go back to your terminal and log in again, and then you have the function log off. You can again type in your barcode, scan the barcode, or you can see here all your open running operations. This is also possible. And if you choose, you get the difference here automatically between log in and log off. And you get here the quantities coming from your planned quantity. You can say, okay, this 5,000 kilogram was produced. You can change and say it's partially complete, then the operation is still open. But in my case, let's say 5,000. We confirm here. There comes some information to it, that's okay. And now the system will do the time receipt and will do the receipt of your batch. Create the batch number automatically in the background. So if you go back to our work order here and we do again the refresh, get here a receipt, 5,000 kilogram, and system will close operation here, will close of course here the time, this information, and you get here in the background a batch number with the status locked. So we say as soon as we do the receipt, we have now the batch on warehouse, but on a quality control warehouse, we will lock the batch, and we get again a quality control order to test the batch. So this is not linked on operation, this is now based on linked on your receipt. So you can go into your quality control order, you can do it again by clicking here or go through your menu, quality control order. I will do it here. And now the difference is you have again a sample, but the difference is now you have linked a batch number, which is red, means locked at the moment. You have first to check your samples. You have to do some measurements, you have to do a quality control check. You can go to your samples, you can have again a measurement, and this is now a real measurement we will do. Here you see the range. So let's say we measured 5, and 5 is okay. So this is what you want, and the check is okay. And if we click update and okay, the system will now automatically release the sample and say okay, this was the time. And if we go back, the system will also automatically release the work quality control order. What I want to do now is, as a last step, is I want to do now the transfer from quality control warehouse to my pick and pack warehouse, or to my shipping warehouse, because now batch is okay. You can have here the options to do a transfer. This is nothing else than a transfer from one warehouse to the other. So you see here, we pre-assign the quantity 5,000 we have to transfer, and we say we want to ship it from quality control to my warehouse 01 because this is my shipping warehouse. And then you can say book, and the system booking, and the system will do automatically in the background the transfer from quality control of this batch to your shipping warehouse, or maybe to another production warehouse you need. So this was a transfer, and as a last step, what you can do also here is now to say, please release my batch. So, and then the system will set the flag released, and now you can use the batch to do the labeling and the shipping at the end for your final product. You see also here booked. We say OK. And again, all information, if we do a small refresh, all information you can see here. So I hope it's not too small. I do some. You see quality control order is finished. The measurements 5, well, value was 5, is also finished. Yeah, you see, and you see also here your time receipt, your times, and the kilograms. What does that mean? We now produced our mixed product. We can now produce our final product. So we have now some quantity on warehouse. We can also say, okay, we close this position, or we close the work order, and we can now go here to our second work order. Now it is available, and now we can go to our finished product, because here we need our mixed product. If we want, we can do again, before we fill and pick and pack, we can do again a material requirement check. Here, this is simply simply here an overview what you need, and if you want, you can here have then your warehouse stock displayed, and then we can say, okay, now let's produce our final product. This is then simply only labeling and pick and pack. Also here we have an operation. We want to do some receipt or some bookings. Again, here you can of course again use terminal. If you say terminal makes no sense for me, you can also do it directly from here. This is also an option I want to show you. You can also do by right click creating a time receipt without any terminal. This is other way, but also possible. So here of course you have to insert the people who did that, and you have to insert your values manually. For example, you know it worked from 10 to 12. These are 2 hours. Planned quantity are 500 gallons. Let's say, okay, this is fine, 500. And now let's say confirm here. Yes, we want to confirm. And the system now do the back flushing. Therefore, the system says, okay, here are the box, makes automatic pre-assign, and now wants the batch number for your mixed product. Required quantity is 2,500. You see, this is your batch you just produced before, 5,000, and with a simple double click, you say, okay, I take this 2,500 I need here from this batch, and then do the pre-assign and do the issue. And then the system will do the material issue and will automatically do the receipt. You see, you have the receipt of your finished product, 500 gallons, and you have the issue here in the background with a linked batch number here. Maybe one or two things here. If you have the requirement to have a batch tracing, you have also here a totally completely batch tracing through the structure. So you see, this is my produced batch number linked to my receipt. I have this batch number on warehouse. So if I do a double click here, I come to the batch tracing. This is maybe something you need also as you have as a requirement. You see the complete history. You see, okay, this batch number comes from my bulk batch number, and here's also a function typical for process manufacturing. You have the same batch number for your final product like you have in your batch product. This is a function you can have. Therefore, you have the same batch number, and inside this batch number you have different other batches. So if you mark the entry, you see on the right side all transactions. You see the receipts, you see the quality control with additional information. This is the batch and serial number tracing. This is also, of course, an interesting function also for process manufacturing. Okay. So, but now we're coming to the end. We have now the receipt. We have the 500 gallons on warehouse here, and now comes, okay, of course, the shipping. So this is now simply saying, okay, I want to pick quantities. So we are fine with the production here. I close this one, and we can have here a pick and pack manager. Pick and pack manager is a wizard. You can filter based on warehouse, which shows you possible quantities to pick for your sales orders. So if I click OK, I see all my open sales orders with the needed quantity and available quantity, and the system suggests me some quantities to release and to pick. So for example, here is my example for this lead 1. I say, okay, this 500 I want to pick and release to pick list. So that means now the system creates a pick list for your warehouse. You can insert some remarks if you want, or you say add, and then the system switch it from open to released. So you have it now released, or you have a special pick list you can print out. So this is done. Next step, go to your pick list, search after your pick list, or show the last entry, and you see here, okay, this is my pick list from today. You can print it again here, give it to your warehouse, and then pick, and say pick all and do the delivery. This is possible. Or one small function I want to show you is you can also have a mobile solution for it. So mobile solution means you can have some handheld, some mobile device with a display, which have a web browser which is connected to a service, to a web service, and there you can have, for example, a pick and pack functionality. So these mobile functions I want to show you in 2 minutes by using by using here my Explorer. This is my Internet Explorer, and imagine that you have here some small screen, and you can here log in to your mobile functionality by type in the card number. This is more or less the same like in the typical terminal. And then you can, for example, have here the function pick list. So and here you see then all your pick lists. You can pick. So let's wait if the system will do it or not. Let's try it again. If not, we have to postpone and show it later. You have to know that in the background there is a service running, and there's a web service running. It's an SAP standard web service, and it seems that's not working, but okay. So at the end, I can show this later or at a later stage if you're interested. Yeah, okay. You can pick it, and then you can change here the status to pick. So I do this now here without mobile function. Say picked all, and then they get the status picked. Can click update, and then later you can create then at the end, this is now the shipping and delivery, you can create your delivery node by using that, or there are also some wizards which do that automatically, but I will do this say, okay, please do automatically my delivery nodes. You can then print out your labels, your papers, whatever you want, say automatic delivery, yes, and then the system opens here my delivery. You can change some, if you want to change some information. You see this is based on sales order 13, so this is also the link, or if you make here, then let's first add. So now the system wants the batch number, so let's say we have auto select here, and say update, okay, this is my batch number, and then add. Then the system will create delivery. So if you see here, pick list is closed, and if you go to the delivery and open the last delivery, you get here your delivery node. You can print out or send it by mail or print out it, or if you make a right click, you can go to the relationship map. You see, okay, this comes from a sales order, and yeah, the last step of course is then to invoice it. But I think this is clear. You can simply say copy to invoice, or starting and wizards to invoice, you open deliveries and get the invoice. Okay, I think that was it. This was a short overview through the process, and yeah, I think now feel free to ask.